Another age-old TF2 debate. The stock rocket launcher versus the original. Which one is better? Does it even matter at all? And I'm sure the question that is all burning in your minds above everything else, what does Spikey Mikey really think of the whole thing? I'm sure that's what you're all thinking, right? Today, I want to talk about the rocket launcher versus original debate, if, I didn't make that clear already. But before we do that, a whole bunch of you guys who are watching the video right now aren't actually subbed. So if that's you, click the button, it's free and it means a lot to me. Also, if we reach 116,000 subscribers this year, then I would have doubled my sub count from the 1st of January, which would be nuts. Anyway, the rocket launcher versus original debate, and this is definitely one of those ones that if you're just looking at it from the outside, you might not really get it. Statistically, the weapons are exactly the same, they do the same damage, the rockets are pretty much the same, and the only difference is that the original decides to be a little bit different and shoots its rocket from the middle of your screen. Which makes sense because the soldier looks like he's constantly holding the rocket launcher between his legs until he needs to reload. Like, this man has been to war, I'm sure he's onto something that us mortals just don't understand. I mean, he can't be leaving the rocket launcher there to keep his legs warm. That's just not a thing that would work, I don't think. So why is this such a big deal to so many people? Like, there's some people that hate using the regular rocket launcher because it shoots just slightly from the side of the screen, and there's people who don't like using the original because it shoots from the middle. I'd like you guys to leave a comment down below saying which one you use. I think it'd be interesting to see which one you guys prefer using and why you prefer using it. Now, the difference in where the rocket actually shoots from a lot of the time doesn't really change too much with either weapon, at least not for me, but peeking around walls sometimes with the original might mean you need to run further away from cover to get a good rocket off without actually blowing up on the wall and hitting you. Whereas with the regular rocket launcher, if you are just peeking from the side that your rocket launcher is on, you won't have to go nearly as far as you do with the original. However, if you're peeking from the other side, then the original might actually be a little bit better because that is closer to where the wall is than the regular rocket launcher being on the right side of your screen. So if you're peeking angles from the right a lot of the time, the rocket launcher is probably the best for you if that is where you play. I don't know how many of you guys play with left-handed view models. But if you're peeking from the left, then the original might be a better choice because it is closer to the left side of your screen. Now, I'm not sure if this is literally just the way I play that is doing this, but I don't really think that's that much of a deal because a lot of the time I'm running around in the open, and if I'm hiding behind walls, a lot of the time I don't really shoot until I'm fully away from the wall and attacking whoever's in front of me, I guess. Maybe I'm completely making that up and have forgotten how I play this game, but a lot of the time I'm not doing too much peeking and like going back into cover really quickly. Like, that's not really how I play this game. Unless obviously there's a sentry gun. I also know that some people prefer to use the original for rocket jumping because with certain jumps, the rocket is right below you instead of down and to the side, which makes doing certain jumps a lot easier than it would be with the regular rocket launcher. There's genuinely some days where if I'm struggling on a rocket jump map, I swap to the original and I feel a lot more confident in the air, but there's also those days where I can actually only use the rocket launcher to jump around, so I feel like a lot of these arguments are very 50-50 split, and it all depends on the day, and it all depends on your own personal preference. I don't think you're going to ever be able to convince somebody who uses the original that the rocket launcher is the better one, and I don't think you're ever going to convince somebody who uses the rocket launcher that the original is better. Like I said, I think it is all personal preference, and this slight change of where the rocket comes out of isn't so huge to the point where it doesn't make any sense to use the other option that's available because one is so much better, if that makes any sense. Like, you're not making a bad decision using either of these rocket launchers because they're both incredible. They are just slightly different, and people prefer slightly different things with these two guns. I like using them both, even though I don't swap between the two as much as I'd honestly like to. I personally don't think you can go wrong with either of these weapons. Now, one of the reasons that, I don't use the original as much is I like having kill streak on my weapons. I like having strange weapons, and getting a strange kill streak original is going to cost me about $60 or $70. No, thank you. But I have a whole bunch of like cool stock rocket launchers with like cool war paints on them. I have a whole bunch of strange ones because they're cheaper, way easier to get, and that is what a lot of people in this game like because not everybody's trying to drop $60 on one weapon for one class. Like, that is quite a lot to do. So having an item that is easily accessible and cheaper, a lot of people will be swayed from that reason. It's a game about like customizing your hats a lot of the time. So obviously if you can customize your weapons as well, a lot of the time that weapon will win over. I personally use the stock rocket launcher way more than I do the original, but I personally like both. I enjoy using both of the weapons, and I don't really notice too much of a difference between the two of them, unless it's a day where I'm really feeling the original or really feeling the rocket launcher, which doesn't happen that often. Most of the time they feel exactly the same to me, and I feel good using both. I did actually ask my Twitter a little bit about this, and I found that a lot of people are kind of on the fence about it. Some people agree saying that rocket jumping is easier with the original, but then some people find using the stock is easier. And when it comes to actually playing the game and hitting shots, that is again pretty much split straight down the middle. Some people think that using the original is way easier to hit some cool shots with, and some people think the rocket launcher is way easier to hit some cool shots with. So again, I don't think you can go wrong with either of these choices. I do know some people got a little bit angry with me from saying before that the original is just a straight up reskin of the rocket launcher, because I didn't think it was worth making a soldier slash video on the original just because it shoots from a slightly different point. So obviously it means quite a lot to a lot of people, and it also doesn't mean a lot to another lot of people. It's a weird one, but I love community discussions like this. It allows each of us to learn about why other people like certain things, and hearing that other point of view is always interesting to me anyway, and a lot of the time it makes me think about things in a way that I might not have done before. Like maybe somebody will comment down below on this video a reason that they used the original and why it's so much better, and that might change my opinion. I might try out the original, realize they're right, and really enjoy using it in that way. I don't know. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching the video. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure you go down below and leave this video a like. And while you're down there, make sure you subscribe to the channel as well. There's so much good content coming out for the rest of this year. I've planned it all out. I'm super excited about it, and you're not going to want to miss any of it. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.